Yes, Morocco winning on penalties to advance to the finals of CHAN 2024. 4-3 was the final score after both teams settled for 1-1 draw in full time. Now, we want to get into that conversation with Cedric Musumba. Sedo, yesterday we witnessed a final before the final. I mean, if you had asked me, that should have been a final.
It was a final for those people who have been following game of soccer, but we also expect maybe a final to be taken a notch higher, simply because of whatever we experienced in the semi-finals. Also, the team that were playing, they are team of the powerhouse of this particular continent. You put a tag on Morocco, someone will tell that I didn't not necessarily want to face Morocco. Similarly, as the way people will try to evade Senegal. But funny enough, at somewhere along the path, they will have just happened to meet, because you need to eliminate each other before you reach the stage of final. Just like I reminded you, if Kenya was serious and we wanted to go ahead and win CHAN, we would have actually been beating each and every team that we happened to face. But unfortunately, we bolted out in the quarterfinal. So as you put it, that was final before final. You leave the work rates, the kind of football that was being displayed, the kind of saves that we experienced from both ends, from the goalkeepers, and also the game readability. You could actually tell the departments how players were rotating among themselves actually to bring the confusion from each of the other sides. If you think that maybe the likes of Bungrino will advance and maybe score it from the center, he drops to the wing and was trying to bring that ball from the... If we thought that maybe he will become a supplier, then at that particular time is when he converted himself into a striker, and he ended up equalizing. And that's the kind of football that we are watching for in Africa. If all African teams, including Kenya, can start playing like these two teams that we experienced yesterday, then we will actually have a mass, the right direction towards cultivating our soccer to the standards that we need.
This is the best football we've seen from Senegal in the tournament, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if you share the same view. Since the tournament began, yesterday they actually showed up, and we saw the real Senegal.
They literally were playing like reigning champions. Remember, when you are the champions, all cameras, all the bull's eyes actually are focused on you. And Senegal coming into this particular tournament as the reigning defending champions of this particular tournament, they need actually to take each and every match with a lot of cautiousness. And that's why we couldn't experience the beauty that we have experienced in Senegal. Remember, they needed actually to mark their strides until the tail end. And when they reached at the quarterfinals and the semi-finals, they realized they think literally we can now pick it and maybe retain it. And that's why now we started seeing the Senegal that we saw yesterday. But if you go by how they play in the group stages, they were just tactical. They could actually prevent their goal. There they ended up only conceding one goal, which means all of them, they were actually falling back to offer the defensive service that are required, and as they think on how to manage the game. If the game becomes so tough, they better even come out of that particular game with only a point. That's a draw. If the game actually opens the space of it, lucky enough, they put a goal before the opponents, they seal everything and they end up winning. And that's how a winning team actually grinds points moving toward the tournament. In a game of tournament, you only count matches. And there are a few matches that actually you play ahead of you before you are crowned as the winner. If all teams would have been knowing that particular path and the step that you follow, we have talked about the paths. If your path is definable to an extent that you know very well the team you are going to face ahead of you, if there are 5, you can approach each game tactically, just the same way McCarthy applied the same style here. He applied the tactical essence of the game of soccer. People would say that we played bad soccer, including even me. But he knew very well that will be remembered by the results, not the style that you are displaying that particular player. And that's how Senegal have been playing all along in this particular tournament.
Morocco showed that, you know what, they are here and they made a statement with that win. And now they have just edged closer to, it's only one win away from lifting this cup. And we saw how they played yesterday.
You know, the beauty with this Morocco team is actually the support behind them. And the psychologically permutation that they have amassed over time. Morocco is not a team that will play with the crowd like us here. So as to fight hard not to be dropped to TZ to play away from home.
Yes.
Morocco, you drop them even to, you take this final to go to play maybe into Oceanic. Morocco will still shine, because they have come to know and understand that it's all about football. All whatever that is happening outside this particular pitch, that 50 by 100 or 50 by 80 by 100, it's none of our business. We are here to grind results, and it's the result that actually will leave that glory that we are looking for. So as you see, when Morocco are actually traversing, actually is the team that has come to East Africa and enjoyed our scenery across all the 3 countries. It has been in Kenya, went to Tanzania, to Uganda, now it's coming to finish here in Kenya. Not necessarily that they knew what they wanted to do, and they know very well that if we reach final, we will have actually enjoyed the services of all these 3 nations. And if you go by the players that actually presented here, look at their defensive line, including the one that was supposed to pick red card yesterday, Marwan Luadini. Those are most experienced players. The 30 years old, he knows very well what his role is here in Chan. In Chan at 30 years old, if not actually winning this particular, what else will you be celebrated for? Because he cannot go back and play for Morocco national team. Already national team has earmarked their space. It has their own player. The likes of Yusuf Mehri, that particular team, Mohamed Rimat, at that midfield. They know very well that we are edging out and we are coming here to win. And we win this, we will be leaving a mark at our back. People will remember simply because we won Chan. And we don't have any other time ahead of us, age ahead of us, that we can go and maybe offer our services to our senior national team.
Yes, I want us now to listen in to what the Moroccan coach had to say after, of course, getting that win yesterday against Senegal.
I must also thank the president of the federation for the job that he is doing. And I think that tomorrow, Morocco today, in every competition, he must be the first. And the game, it was not easy, like the other games against Senegal. A very good team, a very strong team, with a lot of speed in the forward and a lot of good players and strong players in the defense. Very organized team. They know what they must do in offensive way and in defensive way. It was not an easy game, for sure. And but I am very happy and very proud with the result. And now we're going to enjoy these nights, the victory, and tomorrow we start to thinking seriously for the final.
Yes, they started to think seriously about the final. Of course, that final will be played on Saturday. They face Madagascar at the Kasarani Stadium. Now, Cedric, he said that, you know, it was not an easy game. And from the way he spoke about that game, probably it's the hardest game they've played in this tournament, despite losing to Kenya.
If there's a team that actually has faced the danger of this particular tournament, the hardship of this tournament, the plight of actually trading in East Africa region in Africa, is this Morocco.
Yes.
First of all, leave alone everything that is happening in the pitch, where they are coming from, differentiation of the atmospheric temperature. The weather in northern part of the continent is quite different from what they have been experiencing here in East Africa. And that's maybe the reason might be why they came in early enough to adapt and try to acclimatize to the environment. But then again, that aside, here in Kenya, remember the group that they were in playing against the 2 times Chan title winner, DR Congo. Everyone thought that maybe it was them and DR Congo to lose it. But they fought hard to ensure that DR Congo actually does not stand on their way. When they played actually the COSAFA, the reigning COSAFA, the defending champion, that was Angola. And Angola actually was in a better team that particular match. They stood as a cog that we have associated ourselves with. They brought in the A game that we have associated Morocco with. And doing that, they ended up actually collecting the 3 points that were deservedly putting them into the game. Now, playing against the hosts. Remember the atmosphere. The 12th man that was at Kasarani,
yes.
Whatever that will happen, vis-a-vis all the bands and everything that really flares up the soccer, Kenyans still turn up in large numbers. And remember, it's in their game that all rules were flouted by the Kenyans. They ensured that they were in. They entered with whatever scooties and everything that were banned. So the atmosphere actually came back to life. So Morocco faced the roughest that it has never experienced this particular time, at that particular time. But still, they played their heart out. Unfortunately enough, they lost Osama Luadini, and then Kenya actually ended up winning that particular match. But still, they recollected themselves to come back. They ended beating Zambia, and they happened to actually qualify after beating their final end of the group.
Yes.
So traveling again to Tanzania, where they had not experienced that particular time, the differentiation of temperatures, if you are, compare Nairobi and the Dar es Salaam,
yes.
being a coastal city, that's a different kind of aspect. But they adapted very fast. They ended up again collecting a win against Tanzania, who had been there all through the tournament. Tells a different story if you actually have somebody who has actually traversed such kind of differentiation in terms of temperature. Again, they had to fly to Uganda. Remember, to Uganda now they are playing in an empty stadium. They have been associated with crowds. Now they are playing in an environment whereby even if we whistle, referee can stop the game, simply because there's no any other for atmosphere to actually flaring up the game. But still they were focused on the results. They ended up beating Senegal. So as to say, they are not finished. They are coming back now to where they are used. Kenyans now have become their home because where they started from.
Yes.
And again, Kenyans, as much as I'm concerned, they might be rallying behind them. So coming here, they are just coming with the confidence of actually grinding the remaining space of the result and carrying this cup back to Morocco. That's what they are coming to do. If they happen to lose it here, it's up to them actually to blame.
Now that Sedo, of course, is saying that, probably Kenyans might be rallying behind Morocco on Saturday. I don't know. But now, Ugandan fans, they were behind